Most people believe wealth is built with money. It is not. The wealthiest person in ancient Rome, Seneca, was also its most ruthless philosopher of poverty of the soul. 90% of people chasing financial freedom are enslaved by the very desire driving them. By the end of this video, I will reveal the precise mental exercise Seneca practiced every evening to dissolve that enslavement forever. We will cover 3 things. First, why the conventional pursuit of wealth is psychologically self-defeating. Then, what the Stoics actually meant by wealth, a concept so radical it has been buried for 2 millennia. Finally, a concrete daily practice drawn from Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. But the real revelation, the evening exercise Seneca perfected, comes at the very end. Look around you. Debt in the United States surpassed $17 trillion in 2023. Millions work longer hours than Roman slaves and still feel poor. Not poor in coins, poor in something deeper, something unnamed. They acquire and acquire, yet a hollow restlessness remains. This is not an economic problem. This is a philosophical wound, centuries old, and the Stoics diagnosed it with surgical precision. The wound has a name: pleonexia, the insatiable hunger for more. Epictetus, who owned nothing and was born a slave, identified it clearly in his discourses. Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life. Every sleepless night worrying about money is pleonexia speaking, not reality. Pleonexia operates like a treadmill, calibrated to always outpace you. Behavioral economists call it the hedonic treadmill. The Stoics called it dependence on externals. Every raise you receive recalibrates what you think you need. Every luxury becomes the new baseline. The man earning $30,000 feels poor beside the man earning $300,000, who feels poor beside the man earning $3 million. The mechanism never stops, unless interrupted philosophically. But here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. The Stoics were not ascetics. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire worth incalculable treasure. Seneca's personal fortune was 300 million sesterces. Cato walked barefoot through the Roman Forum, not from poverty, but from chosen austerity. These men were not against wealth. They had discovered something about wealth that made the difference between freedom and chains absolutely invisible to everyone else. The Stoic secret is this: wealth is not an amount. It is a relationship with externals. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, composed privately, never intended for publication, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics built a concept they called adiaphora, preferred indifference. Money, property, status, good to have, catastrophic to need. The distinction is everything. Adiaphora does not mean indifference to effort. It means your inner citadel, what Epictetus called the hegemonikon, the ruling faculty of the soul, remains sovereign. You pursue wealth through virtue, through arete, excellence, discipline, honest craft. You accept what arrives without desperation. You release what departs without collapse. This is not passivity. It is the most active, demanding psychological discipline ever conceived in the ancient world. And if this is stirring something in you,
Subscribe. What comes next reshapes everything you thought you knew. Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius in 65 AD from a villa in Campania. It is not the man who has too little who is poor, but the man who hankers after more. Read that twice. The poverty Seneca describes is entirely internal, a misfiring of the hegemonicon, a judgment corrupted by appetite.
Prosoche, vigilant attention, was the Stoic tool for catching this corruption before it metastasized. Not passive reflection, but active interrogation of every desire. Before any financial decision, the Stoic practitioner would pause and ask, does this serve virtue or appetite? Does this expand my inner freedom or contract it? Musonius Rufus, Marcus Aurelius's philosophical ancestor, taught this discipline to Roman senators in the 1st century, calling it the foundation of all practical wisdom. Wait, what comes next is what few truly understand. The Stoics went further than prosoche. They practiced premeditatio malorum, the deliberate, vivid premeditation of loss. Seneca prescribed this nightly. Imagine losing everything. Your investments gone, your property seized, your reputation dissolved. Not as catastrophizing, as inoculation. When the mind has rehearsed ruin calmly, ruin loses its psychological leverage. This is not pessimism. This is the architecture of unshakable financial courage. Tomorrow morning, before you open any financial application, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Write one sentence completing this. If I lost everything material today, I would still possess. This is not a gratitude exercise. This is Stoic cartography, mapping your inner wealth, what Epictetus called ta eth heimen, the things within our power. Clarity about what cannot be taken from you restructures every financial decision that follows, every single one. Each evening, practice what Marcus Aurelius called the retrospective review. In 3 sentences, answer, what financial decision today was driven by appetite rather than virtue? What would a person of complete inner sovereignty have done differently? What will I correct tomorrow? This is not guilt. This is the logos, the rational cosmic order working through your daily choices, gradually aligning your economic life with your philosophical convictions. In 65 AD, Nero ordered Seneca's death. The philosopher was 69, enormously wealthy, surrounded by his vast library in a Roman villa. He was told to open his veins. According to Tacitus, Seneca turned to his weeping friends and said, "Where have your philosophical studies gone? We have spent so many years preparing for this." He was calm, not because he was brave by nature, but because for decades he had practiced premeditatio malorum. He had already released everything. Now the promise kept. The exercise Seneca practiced every evening. Sit in complete silence, review the day, and ask, what fear about money governed me today? And was that fear rational or merely habitual? Write the answer. Then write what a wealthy soul, not a wealthy account, would have thought instead. Over months, this rewires the hegemonicon. Your financial decisions stop being reactions to fear and become expressions of arete. That is the Stoic secret.
Seneca lost his fortune and found it meant nothing. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire and treated it as borrowed. Epictetus owned a clay lamp and called himself free. The real question is not how much you have. It is who commands your soul when the market falls. If this reflection has moved you, subscribe. Tomorrow we go deeper into what Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal each night before sleep. What remains when everything is stripped away?